Before we go to questions and comments, I see the Honourable Government House Leader is rising on a point of order.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy to step up to the plate and advise that an agreement has not been reached under the provisions of Standing Order 78.1 or 78.2 concerning the proceedings at report stage and third reading of Bill C-44, an act to amend the Canadian Security Intelligence Service Act and other acts. Under the provisions of Standing Order 78.3, I give notice that a Minister of the Crown will propose at the next sitting a motion to allot a specific number of days or hours for the consideration and disposal of proceedings at those stages. Thank you.
I'm sure the House appreciates the notice by the Honourable Government House Leader. Questions and comments? Questions et commentaires. La députée de
Honourable Member
Spadina.
Thank you very much. I've been following today's debate, and I've heard from two parties that no matter what changes, their proposed course of action, which existed a month ago, is going to be pursued with even more vim and vigor now, despite the fact that fundamentally the economics have changed. In fact, the motion today in front of us states that the world has changed and new numbers are needed, but yet the ideology that seems to support certain courses of action has not produced a different course of action, and it worries me. But the question that I have is this. I've also heard today about this so-called abandonment of the manufacturing sector by the leader of the Liberal Party. And what I don't understand is that when asked the question, should we depend on one single source of manufacturing in Ontario, the leader said, no, we need to diversify, not put all our eggs in one basket. In the same way, we shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket on the resource sector. We need to diversify. There was never, ever, ever a statement regarding walking away from manufacturing or walking away from the auto industry. What is the member quoting when that statement is made, suggesting that just the leader of the Liberal Party wants to walk away from manufacturing in Southern Ontario? I have never heard him say that.
The Honourable Member for Parkdale-High Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I frankly agree with him that it was quite shocking to hear the leader of the Liberal Party say that Ontario should transition away from manufacturing. Clearly, the behaviour of the government to ignore the manufacturing sector has meant that the number of manufacturing jobs have dropped from 20%, the percentage in Ontario of manufacturing jobs has dropped from 20% to below 15% in Ontario. So their neglect and their promise of neglect is really quite shocking, Mr. Speaker. But never mind, Ontario workers can count on New Democrats.
Order. 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 It's awfully noisy in here this afternoon. The Honourable Member for Parkdale-High Park is in the process of responding to the question from the Honourable Member for Trinity Spadina. I'm sure that Honourable Members would like to hear what she has to say. The Honourable Member for Parkdale-High Park. Order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was just going to say that workers in the manufacturing sector, whether it's in Ontario, Quebec, or wherever in Canada, can certainly count on New Democrats to support their sector and not say that or imply that somehow it's a sector of the past. But let me say more than that. When we're in difficult times where finances appear to be different than they were expected to be some months back, we need to look for ways of saving money. And you know, there are some pretty obvious ways. One, of course, would be for all parties to support New Democrats' call to abolish the Senate. That would certainly save a significant amount of money. But I would also call the government's attention to the millions, over $100 million that they have spent on government advertising, which borders on partisan, to support their approach to the economy, which, quite frankly, I think is offensive to so many Canadians.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Député de Charlebourg.
The Honourable Member for Charlebourg-Saint-Charles. Right now, Mr. Speaker, 1.3 million unemployed people in Canada. 11% of the workers come from the manufacturing sector, which was very hard hit. The NDP position is quite legitimate. I'd like to hear my honourable friends' views on this. We want the middle class to live better in this country. We would like the line to stop and that the public be told the truth.
Merci à ma collègue pour
Thank my colleague for her question. Truly, the situation is so difficult. for hundreds of thousands of workers who are unemployed, who have lost their jobs, especially in the manufacturing sector, but in other sectors as well. This government really doesn't have a plan to help those workers. They've cut back on employment insurance, and they've cut assistance to the manufacturing sector. They say that the market will decide and will solve everything, but in difficult situations like we have now in our economy, when you need a government to show leadership and help the economy, help employers create jobs, the unemployed have no hope right now. There are a lot of families that are suffering because of the lack of jobs, the layoffs that we're seeing right now in this country.